Extensive reporting on the activities of the very wealthy in Martha's Vineyard is kind of a weird summertime tradition which I try to ignore. Nonetheless, there was a great story yesterday about a meeting or a run-in between Alan Dershowitz and Larry David at apparently some very famous store, some kind of town store in Martha's Vineyard. This would have been one where it would have been worth being a fly on the wall to hear. Apparently, Larry David no longer wants to be friends with Alan Dershowitz because of Alan Dershowitz's recent activities in history. And Larry David was very clear about this, raising his voice and expressing his anger towards Alan Dershowitz. Dershowitz apparently responded because he was wearing two T-shirts, which is, I guess, normal for very wealthy people in Martha's Vineyard, because they can afford so many shirts, took off one of them to show his second, which had the slogan, "It's the Constitution, stupid." I guess this is what passes for funny in the kind of odd, addled mind of Alan Dershowitz. What struck me as important about this is that Dershowitz quotes what he said later to the New York Post, which is a right-wing tabloid, about this. And he accused Larry David of McCarthyism for no longer wanting to be friends for Alan Dershowitz. This is an accusation that the far right throws around a lot whenever one of their people or someone on the far right is not met with the most grace and friendliness by somebody who is a progressive. But the accusation that Larry David is somehow equivalent to Senator Joe McCarthy is absurd. And here's why. Larry David is just a dude. He's a very rich dude, a very funny dude, and probably a very strange dude in his own way, but he's just a dude. He's not the state, he's not the government, and he's not actually trying to destroy anybody. He simply doesn't want to be friends with Alan Dershowitz, which I think of as a very normal human instinct. And by the way, an important human instinct if you are a girl, given what we're learning about Alan Dershowitz. So maybe Larry David doesn't want to be friends with Alan Dershowitz because of his politics, which would be perfectly legitimate. You don't have to be friends with people with whom you disagree with politically. Maybe Larry David doesn't want to be friends with Alan Dershowitz because he's kind of an arrogant schmuck, which is also a legitimate reason not to want to be friends with anybody. But this has nothing to do with McCarthyism. And people like Alan Dershowitz should stop throwing around that term every time somebody doesn't like them.